Yes, yes, yes. What's going on, people? Rebel advocates in the building again. Second Wednesday. What's going on? We're here. We're here. We're here. Anyway, good show tonight. We're gonna be talking about racism again. Racism reared its head again around football, around life, innit? Also, sentencing. How is it? Is it? Is it racism in sentencing? We got our professional to have a look at that, didn't we? So anyway, further ado, who's in the building? What's going on, people? Who's there? Is man like is Johnny there?
Yo, well going. Good?
Yeah, bless up. You cool?
Yeah, man. Bless.
Sweet. Man like Artie.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
You alright?
Yeah, not too bad, man. All good, man. All good.
So we do with the sentencing first, because the other one's related to football, you know, and you know that one's
Yeah, we can crack this one out first, guys.
That one's gonna go on for long, I think. Yeah. So what you got? What you got to say about sentencing, bruv? What do you think about it? Do you think it's good? Is it fair? Is it unfair for some? What would you say, sir? What have you found?
I think so, man. Yeah, I think it's been spoken about a lot over time, isn't it? This white privilege sort of stuff, and from the little bit of research I've done and some stats I've drawn off here, sadly it seems like even sort of sentences now, you know what I mean, for the identical crime, sadly black offenders are much more likely to go away than their white counterparts, you know. I can give you a little example of it. It says here, for example, black offenders are 44% more likely than their white counterparts to be sentenced for driving offences. It goes on as well. 38% more likely to go to prison for public disorder or possession of a weapon. 27% more likely for drugs possession. Goes into like Asian offenders as well, guys. It says they're 41% more likely to be sent to prison for drug offences.
And the weird for Asians? Did you say Asians?
Yeah, 41%.
Okay, go on. That's quite.
And a weird one here: 19% more likely to go to prison for shoplifting. So I'll put that across to you guys there. You know what I mean? There's the sort of a wee bit of evidence there, guys. What do you think about that?
Come in, Johnny. What are you saying?
I don't even know what to say. I'll tell the truth. Just said it in one, man. That's facts you just read out. It's just, to me, it's not surprising, isn't it? Because obviously I've been through through that type of system. You get it? And to me, it was just blatant to see. Obviously, when I got my sentence or whatever, I mentioned it to my barrister and said, obviously, I knew a white kid that got done the same crime, got less time than me. My barrister said to me, "That's just the way it goes, isn't it?" So it's like, I mean, I've always known about these things from growing up. So it's just, to me, it's blatant, but to someone else, maybe they're in the dark and they wouldn't. Like, if you were to say those facts to anyone in the street, or you're saying it, or what you've just said, people argue and say, nah, that's a lie. But it's just, to me, it's just blatantly obvious, man. And it's like, I feel it's not going to change. Because no matter how you look into things and you bring up stuff and try to appeal certain things, it will never change. It's just, I think when I was inside, there was a book. I think someone wrote a book about it, and it just had all the facts what you just said, Artie, and it's like, it's just blatant, man. It's just disgusting as well. But
it is.
But what can you do about it?
That's another question, isn't it? I don't know what teacher thinks. I mean, what do you think about that as well, mate?
Well, what can you really do? I mean, it goes back to that, that deep rooted problem for me. Whose problem is it really? I mean, we're we're getting all the we're feeling everything from the problem. You understand?
Yeah.
We feel everything, and we get all the repercussions from the problem. But the one who really has the problem, don't really it's not really an issue, is it? Really, not really something that's swept under the carpet. Do you know what I mean? They don't really deal with the issue of why this problem is here. Do you understand?
Yeah, I agree. Also, what I got off this as well, I don't know what you guys think about this in terms of relevance, is that they're saying that black judges make up just 1.09% of the judiciary in England and Wales. Do you think that's a determining factor as well, guys? Do you think if there was more black judges on sort of in the judiciary from sort of magistrates level up to Crown Court, do you think, touch wood, you might get a more even sentencing policy across the board?
But when you check it, even some of the black judges, they're just as bad. Like you would think to yourself, it would distribute and be more even. But to me, I think when I was younger, I had one black judge in the magistrate, and it's like he was just as bad. Like it's like you can't. I don't know, man. Maybe if there was more, diverse, number in the judges thing, then maybe. But I don't know. I would say it should help, but I don't know.
But still, they're in the system, aren't they?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the guidelines they follow and they have a discussion, and it's just something that made us all go with. Like, yeah, we're gonna give him more, or because to me, I've seen it so much. It's like you talk to someone, and it's like the way they're saying, like, yeah, I got this amount of years, and I'm thinking, bro, but me or someone's done exactly the same crime.
Yeah.
If anything, that's your second strike, and we've got more years than you. And it's like it's just blatant, Artie. And it's like it's like who are you gonna complain to? Who are you gonna moan to? Like you, no one wants to hear it.
No.
And it's just. And if you try and go and get that law book and read out certain things and follow the guidelines, even that don't work. It's like their words final, and it's like you just have to just go with it. But I don't know, man, because they're trying to make things more even and certain things. But to me, it's always been like that, and it's always going to be like that. It's just.
Unless, I don't know. I think maybe if there was more black judges, I mean, they're saying at the current rate of the so-called progression of getting more black judges, Asian judges into the judiciary, they're saying it wouldn't even itself out to 2149. Yeah, so like so like it's always a bit of a boring cliche, isn't it? You've got the scale to justice at the Old Bailey and stuff. Well, there's no evenness there. But possibly, like you say, John, even if there was more black judges, it's the system you're working in that's creating the issue. I was looking into things why they're saying what's the reason for sort of different sort of sentences, apart from what we've spoke about, the obvious one, sort of racism. And they're saying that this is like a 2010 sort of it was a government study on the race and sort of criminal justice system. And I think, again, it's typical sort of spiel. They're just papering over the cracks, saying, sort of reasons, for differences in sentences. They're saying, judges are individuals. So there's different patterns in sort of remand decisions, sort of different patterns sort of change into whatever policy. But I just think it's the same thing. Like they just have this sort of perceived opinion of somebody, sadly of a colour, and the fact that you are more likely to receive that if you're black. I don't know if you remember, guys, there was a case of this white white young man, must have been about 21. I mean, granted, he was on the social scale. He was a banker, rich guy. He glassed someone in a nightclub, and they lost their eyesight. And he never went to prison. He never went to prison. I mean, what they were trying to lean towards this one was saying it was because of his social standing, because he was pretty well to do and stuff. And arguably, if he was a white working class man, he would have still went prison. But still, the fact is, if he was a black upper class man, he still would have probably went prison for doing. Not probably, he would have went prison for doing that crime. So that shows you can glass someone, they lose their sight, and you won't go to prison. I think the judge quoted to say, he's not ready for prison due to whatever his lifestyle. He's not ready for prison, you know. And those things set sort of dangerous. The term they use as a precedent for things. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, they always jump in and excuse me, they always jump in and do stuff like that, especially when it comes to them type of people. It always they always come in and decide to be look at them as not as a animal, you know, or criminal. You understand? They look at them as a human and say, come on, but look, you know, he's had a good schooling and he's got potential. You understand? But they don't see the potential in the other people. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
And they see them as enemies, as animals. And this is the thing, really. You understand? This is the issue, really, and this is the question, and this is the debate, and this is the answer that most people want, right? You'd think.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, they were saying here that just in general, a black male or a person of colour is 23% more likely to receive a custodial sentence. So, you know, if say me and John standing together and we've done the identical crime, there's a decent chance that I'm going to get off. You know, there's a decent chance, and John have probably got very little chance if you've done a certain offence, whatever you've done. You know, They'll still look at you and say, you know what, mate, you I mean, you're okay. You can go back, and you can't. So that's probably why there's a disproportionate number of black males in prison. I'm not saying if you do a crime, go away, do your time. You know what I mean? If you've done a certain thing, but it has to be balanced and fair for everyone. But like John said, you know, sadly, will there be any change in the status quo? You know, it's the establishment, isn't it? It's bigger than that.
Yeah. I doubt it, but it will take a long time, and I doubt it anyway. Focus on it. But look, right? What if you was in another place? Say you was in Africa somewhere, right? And you done a crime. Yeah, you both done a crime. You know, and it's black people over there, right? Do you think it would look different over there? Do you think? Because I can't really. You've seen some things, innit? We've seen some things where things happened. You know, like foreigners go to Africa or some other country and they kill somebody. They usually get rescued by their country, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see any knowledge around the normal thing, but yeah, what do you think about it? Do you think it will be different, reverse racism, if you can say that? You know what I mean?
I think you'd probably get treated better. Me as a white man, like you said, if you do the race reversal, guys, I think if I went there and I committed a crime, I think even probably their justice system might be a bit more balanced, isn't it, than what we've got? You know what I mean? And like you said, depending upon your colour or ethnicity, you've seen it out there before. Governments might try to sort of get you out of certain situations, put the effort in, you know what I mean, to sort of help you out, to, oh, you know, this one is such a good person, blah, blah, blah. Whereas on the flip side of that, sorry, over here, there's sort, you know, I mean, kind of, there's sort of none of that. So no, I think that you would probably get, me as a white male, if I went to Africa and I committed a crime, or wherever in the subcontinent, you could say Asia or anywhere, I think arguably their justice system might be a bit fairer, you know, because it's clearly not fair here.
100%.
And it hasn't been for the longest time.
100%. Yeah, I like to think so as well. To be fair, I'm sure it will be as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but, it's not fair here at all.
Yeah, so them things they need to get dealt with. You know what I mean? These unfair people. When they're gonna realize? You know, when are they gonna realize? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But I suppose if you are, I mean, you could argue it's very similar. It's a microcosm of the justice system in America, isn't it? To a point, whereas there are large numbers of black people, Latino people in prison for a whole heap of crimes. And again, you'd argue the same thing, pointing out a white male. I mean, that was a very good documentary. I watched the 13th, which broke it down in terms of prison numbers, the numbers of black men in prison, and how it's grown over a certain period of time. You know what I mean? And I had a debate with a guy in work on it, but he was saying, yeah, but look at the figures. But I said, no, but if you look at the figures of actually the amount of black people that are in America and the amount of black men that are in prison is totally disproportionate, you know what I mean? And if that was a white male and it was those low numbers there, but yet those such astronomically high numbers in the prison system, you'd be screaming blue murder. And I think it's not to that level here, guys. I'm sure you'd agree, but it's still at a poor level.
Go on, Johnny. What you want to answer that one, old chap? Oh, Johnny's not here. Johnny's not here no more. Hopefully we'll get him back.
Oh, he's back.
Sorry, lads. It booted me out for some reason.
All right. Did he get that?
Yeah, but I can't even remember what part you lot heard, but
we didn't hear nothing, to be honest. It was Artie was saying something. He was asking a question. What was you saying, Artie, again?
Yeah, John, I was saying, so don't you think the justice system here is sort of a small microcosm of the justice system in America? Obviously, it's much worse, you know.
100%.
I was telling Teacher there's a famous documentary, a good documentary called The 13th, and that breaks down in terms of how the prison numbers have rocketed over the years, and how black men in prison have rocketed over the years. And it's such, what's the word I'm looking for? It's such a disparity to the amount of black people that actually are in America. So it's really weird if that was flipped on its head, and you had, and you had a minority of white men who are the minority in America, but yet in the prison system, they're almost the majority. You know what I mean? And it's coming that way over here, not to that scale due to whatever population in America is probably, I don't know how many times, 3 or 4 times more than in Britain anyway. But still, Johnny, you know what I'm saying to you? Do you think that in time it's going to lean more and more towards kind of the American sort of judicial system, even though their onus is on, if you commit a crime, you've got to prove your innocence. Whereas over here, if you commit a crime, they've got to prove you're guilty. But the fact remains still that the numbers of black men in prison in America and coming over here now is far too disproportionate, John. You know what I mean? And I think hopefully we don't go that way, but I feel like it is going that way.
And you know what? I was just about to say as well, I feel we are leaning towards the America way of doing things. And when it does fully tilt that way, it's going to be, it's going to be a madness over here, man.
Well, totally.
Because it's like what you said. I've always seen it and been like, bro, why is it over here? They have to prove that you're guilty, but over there, it's like the reverse thing, isn't it? Like it's like what you said. And it's like over there.
Yeah, strange.
And it's
over there, you're banged to rights, John, already. You're banged to rights. It's like you've done the thing.
Just about to say that.
You're banged to rights, John.
Just about to say that. Oh, it's like over there. Once you go court for something, it's like you're gone. It's like you're not even gonna make it back home. It's like, and it's like I could see it. I could see it happening, and it's what you said. Over there, you're just banged to right straight away. You get nicked for something,
Yep.
And they just jump on it, and they jump on your pockets, innit? Because you always got to pay this bail or something, and it's always a lot of money, couple of thousand, 10, 20,000 bond, and all that crazy stuff. And they just hit you straight in your pocket, man. So it's a hustle.
Yeah. Well, sorry, John, to cut you, but about sort of all these private security firms in America that make huge millions and millions of pounds. So it's like prison's big business there. It's coming over here the same sort of way. All these private, loads of these firms, they invest in it. They obviously get stuff from it, you know what I mean? And that sort of, and that continues. There was in America, they have the famous 3 strike policy. So any crime you commit 3 times, whatever it is, could be shoplifting. You go to prison for life, you know?
Yes.
And that policy. And that was signed off by Joe Biden back in the late 80s. And since then, the prison population just keeps on booming. So it's making sense for them, you know. It's making dollars. And obviously people know, you guys know that in prison, they've got slave labor. They have these huge, massive companies that are benefiting from basically slave labor. Like, you know, who was it before? It was Victoria's Secret used to do it. Loads of them, you know. So it benefits them to have more men in prison. And it seems to me, I'm sure you guys agree, it's more beneficial for them to have more black men in prison because the system is racist from the top, you know, from the top down.
I hear that still. I hear that argument. I hear
that. As for a change in it, gentlemen, I'm not optimistic. Man. You know what I mean? It's like what John was saying. If we keep leaning more and more towards this American sort of style of punishment, even though, like we said, over here you've got to prove your guilt, where over there you're guilty anyway. And like you said, John, once you're guilty over there, if you're black, it's a wrap. If you're black and poor, it's a wrap. You might as well just pack your case, mate, and you're done. You know what I mean? You ain't coming back.
100%. I've been looking at all these American things. As soon as you get nicked, you go straight to court, straight away. What teacher was saying, they set you a bond straight away.
Yep.
And then if you meet the bond, you get your bail in it straight away. If you don't, you're just in there, and it's like over there. I seen someone the other day. They obviously they bust their case and they come out, but they ended up spending 4 years fighting their case from in there because they didn't have the money to fight it. So like what teacher said, they hit you, they hit your pockets, so you can't bond out, and you already know it's a joke thing when you're trying to fight your case from behind the doors.
Yeah, and you don't have the money,
exactly.
You don't have it. It's like what teacher said. It's all the money. They hit you in the pocket, and 90% of the time, depending on your background, especially your social standing, they know you're not gonna make bail. So there's cases I've been reading, people been just sitting in there 2, 3, 4 years, you know, bare years like that, you know, without charge, just sitting up in there. You know what I mean? Because they know you ain't gonna make that bail. It's unrealistic unless you've got some rich benefactor that's going to be behind you. And if you're from a certain level of social standing, you ain't got that. You know what I
mean? Real talk. Obviously, over here, obviously, where you have the they can hold you for 2 years maximum. Then they have to let you go in it if they don't have nothing. Over there, it's like they can keep you for a world of time out there, and it's like
it's crazy. I don't think it's in it. Where is it? Even in it's not quite in America, but even in Guantanamo Bay, there were guys held there for some 10, 11, 12 years, mate, with no charges, my friend. No charges against them. 10, 11, 12 years. It's a wrap, you know what I mean? It's a large portion of your life, guys.
And I can see this country moving towards, like you said, the American way, where the 2-year thing where they can hold you without it, it's gonna increase, I feel, and they'll just hold you until you can just prove your innocence, and then maybe they'll let you. But Yeah, man. But
well, no, it's terrible. But like teacher said, if you're from a certain social background, especially if you're Caucasian, like I said, the case I mentioned is in the city, right? It is in the city, guys. A geezer glassed someone in a pub, bro. Man lost his eye. In what world do you know any? Like, if you've done that, that is a wrap. That's years. That's like, I don't know how many you'll be looking for that, guys. How many you think between what? Anywhere up towards 10 years, maybe?
Class, I'd say 10 minimum.
Like the brother lost his eyesight, lost it.
I'll say 10 minimum. That's 10, not even max. Minimum. You're looking between
zilch, bruv.
I reckon you're looking between 10 and 20 years for that.
You could, yeah. It's not quite attempted murder, but it's not far away. Well, you could do, innit? Not really far away from that.
What would you class that as? What's that? In ABH within 10? Is that ABH within?
Was it GBH within 10? I don't know.
Previous actual grievous.
GBH, innit? The fuck lost his eye. Man lost that eye. That's some serious thing, innit?
Yeah, he fucking lost his eyesight, the geezer. You know what I mean? And what world do we live in?
For man not to go behind the doors, you just know that what we're talking about is just blatant. Because if I did that, I'd be saying bye to all my loved ones. Be like, you know what? I'm going away for a long time, innit? So I would just know I'm gone. I ain't thinking I'll try. Maybe no. I'm gone.
100%, mate. Done and dusted.
So whatever was going on, if it's his family, the judge was his family, or something got paid off. Someone got paid off.
He just made a mad statement, the judge, yeah. He come out, possibly, he just said, because of his social standing, that they ordered him to pay, I think the geezer paid whatever compensation, but yeah, that was his quote. I think it's like because of his social standing in society and his upbringing, like teacher said, where he came from. These are the exact words. He said the prison, what do you say, the penal system is not suitable for him, you know what I mean?
Oh, so you can just do that and
that's some joke business there. Yeah, you just go there next time, say, yo, it's not suitable for me, you know.
You know, I'm space of stringing it. Me, sorry, mate. I just killed 10 people, but it's not suitable for me. You know what I mean?
It's not suitable because of my position in the community. It's not suitable for me.
Yeah, it's terrible stuff. But yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? And it's sad that even at that level, you know, where people do things, and you'd think, okay, there should be at least in that. You know, if you screw up, you do your stuff, you do the thing wrong, you do something horrible, it doesn't matter who you are, what kind of skin you are, just be balanced, man, and say, all right, you're going to get 7 years, you're going to get 7 years, not you're going to get 7 years, you're going to get 3 years, you know what I mean?
Well, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, and we know that, because first of all, if you got money, you understand, you're gonna get through. You know what I'm saying? Got money to get a
Once
nice
you got
lawyer,
the money, you're good.
Get a nice lawyer, get the specialist lawyer who's specialist to bust them certain case there. You understand? Boom.
100%.
No legal aid, you know what I mean? None of the legal aid bods.
Well, you might end up with that Sean Wallace off the chase. You don't want him.
Well, he loses all the time on the chase, doesn't he?
Bro, and he's a pussy in real life as well. I don't want to end up with him. I know a couple people ended up with that pussy, and he's not even on fighting. He's just straight saying to you, you know what, I'm going to get you the lowest possible thing. He ain't even trying to prove you're innocent. You know, pussy that.
Yeah, not good.
But that's for another day. But yeah, don't want to end up with good old Sean.
Isn't it? You know what I mean? No, not at all. Not at all. It's sad though, isn't it? It is sad though, but I don't know. I don't know what you two think. In our lifetime, I don't see that changing.
Listen, man. This is it's a deep rooted problem, and the people that's trying to solve the problem ain't the ones with the problem. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
it's gonna take long until understanding is understanding. So yeah, this one, who knows, mate? Who knows? Never. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna see it though. I know that much.
No,
we ain't
not in our lifetime.
So yeah, shall we wrap it? Shall we wrap that one up there?
Yeah, that was a nice little one. But yeah, sad times.
Oh, what else though? We got this. It's reared its head again in Spain again, isn't it? The old racism, good old racism.
Oh, Mr. Vinicius Junior.
The Vinicius Junior. What do you guys say? Like, you know what? I don't know. I've spoken to you guys before. Maybe I've said Valencia's a nice place, isn't it? Yeah, man. I've been to Valencia. I enjoyed it. I could see myself living there. You know what I mean? There was a lot of ethnic people there.
Yeah.
So it was a bit strange to see all that madness, but familiar. But
yeah.
But not from over there. But yeah, what do you guys think of that?
John, do you want to kick off? Go on, John.
Boys. To me, it's not surprising, but the way life's going on now, it's like, are we really surprised when we hear things like this? It's like the man's playing football. He's complained to the ref and said some people are doing stuff in the crowd. After the match, the Real Madrid keepers come out and said after the match, the whole of the stadium were making monkey noises towards Vinicius, innit? And it's like, today we found out they've charged 3 people or 4 people and they fined the club £39,000.
A lot there, isn't it?
And they've shut off the stadium, like certain parts of the stadium, for 5 matches. Like, is this what we're doing? Like, we're basically saying, you be racist, shut off your stadium, but we'll fine you 39 grand. Is that it? 39 grand they fined Valencia Football Club. No points deduction, just a fine, and shut off your stadium for 5 games. Mad.
They should have locked
down.
To
me, the way I look at it.
Sorry.
Go on.
No, sorry. Go on.
Go on.
They should have locked down the whole stadium for how many? For 5 matches at least. Do you understand? Whole stadium. No, only away supporters.
Oh, they should have even done a thing, teacher, like an arty, like, for 5 games, you got to forfeit the 5 games. That they're basically L's for you. You get it. You've got to take L's because they're still gonna get to play games. It's just, or you say to them, you ain't allowed no fans. It's just away fans allowed in the ground. So you ain't gonna be able to, because to me it's like, when are UEFA and FIFA gonna do something about this? Because to me, I seen something earlier about they're looking to take action against what was it? It was a game the other day, and there was some homophobic chanting, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, you're taking this thing. Right, I'm not saying it's right, but what you doing about the racism thing? It's like they only do things that affect them or their kind of people. You get it? Because homophobic thing. Because homophobic things, that affects white people as well. So they're going to take issue with it. Betting, that affects white people as well. So they'll take issue with it. When it comes to racism now, all they do, report it to kick it out, give them a little fine. It don't affect them. So it's like, you're giving little punishment for stuff that, not saying it should come higher than the homophobic and the betting thing, but at least put everything forward equally. Just like when Artie and Teacher was saying earlier about when people are getting sentencing, let's follow a guideline. when it's like these things now, they straight away they're jumping on the homophobic thing straight away, and I think to myself, oh, like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, it's a deep-rooted problem, definitely. What do you say, Artie?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched football for years, and this problem has been, going on for decades and decades. And certain countries, but it's not even certain. There's so many now. Like it's happened frequently in Italy, frequently for years, decades. And I was reading now, it's saying in Italy now they invest in new technology now, £10 million to say they can identify sort of individuals with this new sort of technology, and they can sort of pull people out. I think it was saying, use that Roman game. They banned they've put banning orders on 100 fans, but I thought it's bigger than that, isn't it, guys? Because you're fining them 39,000, mate. 39,000. That's nothing. That is nothing. You should be putting some big fine in. I'm talking nearer than £1 million, and then they might sit up and think. Like teacher said, close the thing down for 5 games, 10 games, 15 games. They need to learn. But for me,
the whole season, season.
That's it, John. But the people that run the game at the highest level, you could argue they're racist. So they don't give a toss, mate. If they keep handing out these punitive fines, what's 39k? I mean, Italy, these guys have been doing it for decades and decades, and it's not stopping. You can go Serbia, you can go many of these places. I'm not generalizing the whole population. Hopefully, people don't catch that. But in terms of the football fans, it's disgusting. So many countries are like this, and nothing happens. And it's almost like you're turning a blind eye to it.
I know you're right, Artie, because the president of La Liga, the Spanish league, came out the other day after Vinicius said, "We live in Spain's a racist and bigoted place," and
yeah, that's right.
All of this. The La Liga president came out the other day and said, Vinicius shouldn't air his opinions because we've tried to have meetings over the last few months, and Vinicius doesn't come to the meeting, so we don't value his opinion. So obviously Vinicius said something, and now my man's backtracked and said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it to sound that way, but you said his opinions are irrelevant." So he's the man that's gone through this thing.
Basically saying that people are twisting him, telling him what to say, but it doesn't need to be twisted. It's there in
exactly,
day, isn't it? There's nothing to twist. It is what it is.
Oh, these people are just this. God, it's like even when remember is it the FIFA president when they had the World Cup just now, and then one day he said, "Oh, like I adapt to everything." Was it today I'm gay, today I'm black, today I'm trans, or something? And I was thinking, bro, what is wrong with this? Bro, bro? It's like, what made you wake up and come out with those statements? Like, why would you do that? Like, that's what I'm saying. And it's like what you're saying. It's from the top filtering down, because if you've got the president saying that, the man that makes all the football decisions, he's doing stuff like this. What do you expect? Like, he's just voicing his opinion of something that he thinks that he's allowed to say. Like,
of course,
it's like there's no one teaching these people, like, bro. Like,
but it's who they are,
like, it's true. They're showing that's who he really is. It's true what you're saying.
That's the guy, John. What's his name? Gianni Infantino. So he basically,
he took over from
no criticism, bro.
Took over from
no criticism at all, bro. He just said he wants to adopt a 3-step anti-racism protocol. Sorry, excuse my French, guys, but it's just a lot of bollocks. It's just paper. It's not even papering over the cracks. You're not even sanding over the cracks, brethren. You're just leaving it. You're happy for the cracks to appear and keep going, yeah? And then what's going to happen? So I think sometimes the players, they might have to take it on themselves and just come off the pitch, man. Just walk off the pitch, because I don't see what's going to change? It's like, unless there's a turnaround in the infrastructure of FIFA and UEFA and get some decent-minded people in, how's it going to change? Like I said, he's not even criticising them. He ain't saying nothing bad. Like, he's not even saying, no, that was out of order, that shouldn't happen, something needs to be done now and stopped, And if you hear that from the top, the very top of the game, things might change, but it's not. You guys know the system, man. It's anti-racism nonsense, the kick it out campaign.
Kick it out. Yep. Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about, like, you see when the player that gets some racial abuse against them, and they go, they do whatever they do, right? And you got these other players holding them, pulling them back, and all that stuff. You know that. What's all that about? What's all the pulling them back about?
Boy, what's he doing, innit? What's he pulling him back for? What is he?
Like Vinicius, when he was doing
the guys was pulling him back, weren't
they were pulling him back. The Valencia players was pulling him back.
Rudiger was pulling him back. Yeah.
Rudiger was pulling him back as well. You understand? What do you think? They're calming him down? What?
It looked that way. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like Rudiger was trying to calm him down, innit? Because obviously Vinicius, I've seen him over like a 4 or 5 year period now, and it's like, but that's what I'm saying. Just saying it, I've seen him for a 4 or 5 period, and every year he's getting racially abused, and it's like, yeah, Rudiger was pulling him back because obviously Rudiger's his teammate, and he can see that my man's gonna lose it, innit? But lose it to what extent? But why? Yeah, but now when you check it, what was he pulling him back for? Because what's he gonna do? Jump into the crowd and start fighting? He was just voicing his opinion. He was telling the referee, "Look, can't you hear?" And even the referee, he should have said, "All right, everyone, we're walking off." He shouldn't have been left to Vinicius. He should have said, "Everyone, the game, we're walking off. We're get me. We're stopping the game for now." Or not even stopping it, like we're basically postponing the game, innit? Yeah, it's done, because even the people that's gonna say the things over the tannoy system, they're gonna say, "Can people stop making certain gestures?" That ain't gonna work. These people.
That's what he said, isn't it?
They said they got fired, innit? The referee and some of these VAR people, they got fired. Did you hear that?
No,
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, they got fired. The referee of that match, rightfully so, right? Because he didn't really do nothing, did he?
No. And like I said, that should have been his call to call everyone. Because I think in the time where they said, remember they come up with that rule: if you hear anything or see anything, you walk off. I think I've only seen them do it once. I can't remember. It was I seen them do it once, and that's it. Every other time they tell the ref. And it's not like the ref can't hear. The Real Madrid keeper come out and said, "We said to Vinicius, do you want to come off the pitch?" He said no. But that should have been taken out of his hands. The referee should have said, "Everyone, blew his whistle, come, let's all walk off." But let the game carry on. And then you're telling Vinicius, "Yo, just calm down." What do you mean calm down? Can't you hear the whole crowd? It's the whole stadium. I can't imagine how that must feel. The whole stadium are basically heckling you, and it's like, how is that acceptable? And it's like you're just expected to just carry on. Then you got the people that run that league. The people that run that league are saying, "We don't value your opinion because you don't come to the meetings." So it's like the same kick it out thing. You don't come to the meetings.
Some bullshit answer.
You don't come to the meetings to tell us how to deal with racism. Like, what the fuck?
But also, if you don't mind, like, it's a joke, isn't it? Because what this only way I can describe him is Bellend, Infantino, this three steps policy. So basically, what you're saying is you're giving them 3 chances to racially abuse people. Then it's 3 chances
that way.
Because you do the tannoy, you say, "All right, stop doing it." Then I think they said the second step, you take them off the pitch for a bit, and then bring them back on. And if it continues, the third step is to postpone the match. and give it to the visiting team or the team where the people are being racially abused. But why give them 3 chances then? Just say the first time, bang, that's it, done. You're off the pitch.
Yep.
Let's get off of here now. Let's move off now. Hit the club with a huge fine, ban the supporters, and start making some changes.
Points. And deduct points. Because when you deduct points, that's when the club would take action, and then the fans will look. Valencia are like 5 points from. They've only got out of relegation because they won that game. Remember, they won it. So it's like if you hit them with a point deduction, that's when the fans will be like, you know what? We are who we are, but let's not voice it because it's gonna affect us and the team. But if you're just giving the look, the fans ain't suffering.
No,
because it's the club that's suffering because, and they're not even suffering because 39 grand. Every professional footballer's earning that in the top league. So that's one person's half a week's wage. Like what is that doing? Where with that 39 grand, where's that going? You're not putting that back into grassroots football. Like you're not putting it. Like these 3 or 4 people that's been charged or whatever, they're just gonna get a slap on the wrist and get a 10-year stadium ban. That's all they're gonna give them.
100%.
That's why I like what Dani Alves did at Barcelona that time when they threw the bananas on the pitch and he picked it up and he picked up the banana and ate it because it's like bro, and look, it's Spain again, and they done it in Italy a couple seasons ago when they done it with Chris Smalling and Lukaku, and they put up on the thing Black Friday because them times it was the Black Friday thing, and they put them up Black Friday, and I'm thinking, bro, what part did you think that was acceptable to? And it's what you said, Artie. Spain and Italy. We know because we're football guys and teachers as well. We know these 2 countries, they're disgusting with it. Over here, yeah, but over there, it's just blatant. Like, how are you putting up on the thing Black Friday and putting 2 black footballers and saying Black Friday?
Scandalous. You know what it feels like over there, guys? You know, it feels like
levels. Go on, sir.
Oh, that was crazy. But it feels like it was almost over there. It feels like it's England in the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're
100%.
not perfect here by any stretch of the imagination, but that's how it comes across there. I was just reading something there. Do you remember the game where England played that in Montenegro and Sterling Rose and Callum Hudson? They got racially abused, right?
Yeah.
They gave the Montenegro, what did they give them? A £17,000, £396 fine, as well as a 1-game stadium closure. So that was a country. So it's Montenegro playing England at home. They were giving, obviously, England boys loads of racial abuse. And they fined them not even 18 grand.
Yeah,
not even 18 grand. That's a scandal. So you know where it's set, where the bar's set. You know what I mean?
Listen, man, that's it. It's the money. If they put big money in it, then they're gonna do something about it. From you see them little fine business, nothing ain't really happening.
No,
not at all, mate.
Remember, it's like what you said, just then. Sorry, unless you hit the people at the top, unless they get hit in their pocket, they're not gonna take it serious. No. That's why. Sorry to say, but with the homophobic thing, they take it serious because the gay community, they take action. So it's like, that's going to hit them in their pocket. So that's why they come out with all of this, wear rainbow laces and certain things, because they're getting hit in their pocket, because to them, they can relate to the gay community.
But boys,
when it comes to go on.
No, sorry. This will touch on what you said earlier on, John. Yeah. So do you remember when what's his name? Like Nicholas Bentner, right? He showed the Paddy Power logo on his underwear during a goal celebration.
Yeah.
In 2012. He got fined
80
grand. 80 grand.
80 grand. Yeah, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
80 grand for that, and.
Yeah, they're cutting on that. They're cutting on the deal, didn't they? They said we're getting some of that, bruv.
You understand?
We're getting some.
We're getting some of that, yeah. We need 80 of that, bruv.
That's crazy. He got 80 grand, but yet Valencia got 39 and Montenegro got not even 18 grand. But you find a guy for showing a betting logo on his pants, whatever. 80 grand, mate. It's just a joke, isn't it? It's a very bad joke, you know what I mean?
It's a
But remember what I said. Go on.
It's a funny thing, innit? Because we always, not we, but you know, society always they go for this small person. They wanna they wanna see small people always in trouble. Do you know what I mean? The boss, they'll find an excuse for the boss. Like even this man, this old man, this fat man, on the news nowadays, isn't it? Today and yesterday about some bullshit. The old man having parties somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
having these parties somewhere and all this stuff, and getting into trouble for that, and people always making excuses. Oh, leave him. He's you know what I mean? Blah 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 blah. But for the small man, the baller, you understand? Oh, fuck it. They earn enough money. Do you know what I mean? They earn enough money. Shit, man, upstairs is earning much more, isn't it?
100%. He's milking the cow. How about this? I was reading a statement earlier on after he was racially abused, Raheem Sterling. He doesn't agree with walking off the pitch. He's saying it's sort of panders to the racists. He's saying he'd rather play the game, take the abuse, and beat the team, and that will hurt him even more. So that's like his spin on it. I think you should just walk off myself. You shouldn't play football and have to put up with it. But that was his point of view. He'd rather stay on the pitch.
You can do what you want. You understand? You can do whatever you want if that does it for you. I understand that one. I understand that style. Just turn it on the pitch, bang in 2 goals, hat trick against that team, and just go stand up in front of them. You understand? I hear that.
I make them hate you even more.
100%. But then they're gonna have to bow down and behave themselves, unless they want the same thing all the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but each to their own. You can do what you want. You understand? You don't have to walk off. But
yeah,
you know what, right? They walk off because nothing ain't gonna be done, innit? They know nothing ain't really gonna be done. That's why they walk off, right?
Yeah. But like you said, if the clubs and the people, like you said, TJ, if the clubs are not proactive in stamping it out, and at the highest level, they're not even trying to stamp it out. They're basically almost condoning it and saying, "Oh, you've got to go through your 3 strike protocol." You know what I mean? Well, then how does it change?
All right, but listen. All right, let's say there's a match going on now, right? There's a match going on now, right? And someone's getting racially abused. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Stop the match? What are you gonna do straight now? What do you say to do?
Like you said, it's an individual thing, but I think
no, not for a player, for like an official. Sorry, for an official.
Oh, sorry. If you're the official,
yeah.
I think possibly you get the 2 captains kind of together and kind of let them know, look, this stuff's going on now. Me as the official, I'm not happy that this is happening, and I'd be willing to take him off the pitch. But I would try to present it to the players and see what they want to do. If the majority of them want to come off the pitch, then we come off and we stay off. That's my opinion. But if they want to play, you know, as you said earlier on, then they might have that sort of same belief as Sterling would sort of Sodom. I'm going to play on and bang in a hat trick and sort of stick it right up them, you know what I mean? But if they want to come off. But you would put that to them and say, listen, guys, you hear what's going on. Do you want to come off the pitch? I'm more than happy for us to stop the game or end the game. Get off the pitch, you know what I mean? But it's a weird one, isn't it? Like you said, for some of the players, like he said, Sterling, he'd rather play, but then you'd get a lot of players that want to come off, you know what I mean?
You do what you want, I think. What do you think, Johnny?
I think I agree with RT. You just talk to the players and see what they want to do, and give them that option and say, I'm prepared to stop the game, but if lot want to carry on or you lot want to walk off, it's up to you. Just give them that option.
Exactly. But, here's another one, chaps. I was reading a statement back in 2019. I think Lukaku was playing over for, I can't remember, it might have been Chelsea. Or he was playing over in Prague. He was racially abused from basically start to the end of the match, and he made a complaint and he said stuff. And Slavia Prague come out with this big statement to say, like, we must reject that there has been racist chanting of the whole stadium. We analysed available footages and none confirmed Mr. Lukaku's statement. The club has already apologised for individuals' behaviour, and it would be appropriate for Mr. Lukaku to apologise for his words too. My gosh. And that's the club, you know. That's the club. Like, again, sadly, over places like Czech Republic, Eastern Europe, in so many places, this is so prevalent. It's happened for years and decades. And so basically, what I'm taking from that is the geezer that's in charge of Slavia Prague. He's probably a racist toe rag as well, because he's not even said they've done anything wrong. He's asking Lukaku to apologise as well. So that's where it's at, isn't it?
Yeah, that's some strange behavior. Like, how dare you even accuse us of this? You know what I'm saying?
You must apologise.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, I never heard of that before. That's some strange behavior, man. What about you, Johnny? Heard of anything like that before?
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
That's a mad one still, because usually they would admit to it and be like, we're sorry, and we'll look to sort it out and look to find the perpetrators and all of that. But for the man to say, nah, man, that didn't happen, and basically you, Mr. Lukaku, need to apologize, bro. That's a deep issue still, man.
Listen, man, that's another show itself. That's another show itself, man. Talking about that thing gone. So
no, it's like you said. They don't teach it's very deep rooted, and that's a separate argument, isn't it? Because is that inbred in that person as a human being that you think that behaviour is all right, or the rest of the planet can see what's happening, but you're not even acknowledging that, and yet somebody speaks out against it, rightfully so. And you're asking him to apologise, man. That's there's something different going on in that brother's head. You know what I
mean? Yeah. 100. So what is there any solutions? Is there any solutions for this thing? Because for Spain, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I like to think it's still a nice place. Do you know what I mean? But but this silly behaviour is just silly.
It is silly behaviour, isn't it? Do you think it's sort of a mob mentality as well? Like, people get together but is it also, you could argue, people showing their true colours?
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know, but all you need to, I don't know, man. Because look, like even they had a black player on their team, didn't they, Valencia? I saw.
Yep.
Yeah.
So even the fact of just doing it like that and not even empathizing with one of your player that you cheer every week. I'm sure you don't call this guy monkey every week, do you? Or do you? I don't know.
Maybe they do. Maybe it just hasn't been publicized. But maybe when he makes a mistake or something, maybe they do it to him. I don't know with that one.
But that must make him feel weird, because I remember a couple of 8-9 years ago, we had a player, for us, Victor Wanyama, and he played against Rangers, and he got racially abused, but yet they had black players in their team. You understand? And it's like, well, how does that work out? So if those guys have a bad day for your boys, are you going to racially abuse them? Or are you still, like you said, John, are you still racially abusing them? You know what I mean?
Jeez,
because it's weird. But then they had the famous thing last year, in it, with with the Glenn Kamara incident in the Europa League when he was racially abused by who was the team? It was like another Serbian team, and he basically whispered to him, "You effing monkey," and they all went mad, all the Rangers players.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he basically knew, like he knew what he said. You understand? It's well documented. Again, that club there was it. Again, it might have been the same Slavia Prague, I think, or Sparta Prague, one of them.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, one of those.
And again, punitive fines. They went mad, Slavia. They said, no, we don't have that. And everybody, like everyone knew what happened. You know what I mean? The reaction of the Rangers players, and Glenn Kamara said it all. You know what I mean? He went out because he's, you know what I mean? He's not that type of player to get, like, go mad. And he went absolutely crazy. And so did the other guys. I'm thinking, okay. And I was thinking, and after the big fallout that happened, again, this same sort of shady defence by the club, like, no, we stand by our player. He didn't say that. The geezer come out, made a big statement. I didn't say it. I wasn't racist. It lost it. You know, this old all sort of bullshit, lost in translation. You know what I mean? And basically nothing happened. And I think this is like you said, it's a bigger problem. It's a cultural problem as well that needs to be addressed over time. And it's not going to happen overnight with some of these countries that you basically know. I'm sure you guys know that when black players go and play in these countries, you know, I mean, even as a visiting player, let alone playing in that country as a black player, but as a visiting player, you know you're going to be racially abused. It's just, that's what's going to happen.
See, the thing is, right, I don't know about the racial, it's some different level stuff, because, you know, I've been to a place out there in Spain where some people didn't even see black people before, you understand? So, I mean, they did stare at you, you understand? They were staring at you a lot, but it didn't go further than that, you know what I'm saying? So all that negative stuff, that's a next level stuff or some, because they did have Franco over there, innit? Franco was over there, wasn't he?
Yeah, true. So there you go. But no, I don't know. I said hopefully in time. But I think, I don't know what you guys think. What would be a sort of directive that could bring down this sort of level of racism that comes from, as you said, it's not just Spain, Tixo, isn't it? It's a bag of countries. It's dozens of countries all across the continent. So what is it?
Hit them up with the fines, man. Hit them up with the fines, innit?
Fines.
That's it. Big fines, at least $1 million. It doesn't go less than $1 million. You understand? And this fund,
standard $1 million.
This fund should be a big fund after that. Do you know what I mean? It should be a big fund.
Yeah, because they said, I was reading, they said the standard fine is like what they gave Valencia. It's like it's generally £39,000 or €30,000. That's the standard fine for any of this sort of behaviour. And they're looking at what I was reading early on is that's some of the severest cases. So then, like I said, when the thing happened in Montenegro with Sterling and all those other guys, they only fined them 17,000. That's nothing, you know what I mean? Listen, and maybe in international football, you could do a fine and points deduction as well, because that will really kick him in the bollocks.
It has to be.
Listen, you know what I mean? You get a fine every time it happens. $1 million at least every time. If it happens every week, boom, $1 million every week, 2 million, 2 matches a week.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, every time someone reports it fairly,
Oh, totally.
It just even goes back to what Man was talking about. Look, from when Suarez was doing them things and John Terry, I don't even know how much games they got banned for, but it wasn't. I mean, it just shows you the precedent. Suarez done it, and it's like, what did he get? Was it how much games?
I think it was like 10 game, 10 game, I think.
I'm saying, so that's what I'm saying. So they're making it acceptable that you can, and John Terry did it as well, and it's like, it doesn't help, innit? It's not helping, because look, you got Mitrovic, violent conduct, 8 games. So you're giving a man 8 games for being racist. So how does it? That's what I'm saying. How is this thing? What you're saying? Racism and violent. What? Which one is it?
Exactly. I think with the racism thing, I think, like you said, you have to stamp it out. So the harder the penalties, I do believe there will be some possible change. Like you say, the big penalties, stadium closure, play behind closed doors. So you have to pay a huge fine, like teacher, like a mil, pay that straight. You're going to play a minimum 5 games behind closed door. You're going to lose a hell of a lot of revenue from your gate receipts.
Lose out on revenue,
Yeah. And if anything, you could, like, if there were games, say, for example, they were scheduled for TV or Sky or whatever, La Liga TV or council, you're not on TV, my friend. You're on nothing. You're playing behind closed doors. There's no cameras there. There's no fines. You're paying a bag of money out, you know what I mean? And you're going to be doing this for a few games. And maybe, like you said, you might see a possible reduction in this behaviour. You might not, because as we spoke about earlier on, it's a real deep-rooted problem. But if the people at the top aren't doing nothing about it and almost seem to be semi-condoning it, then fans don't give a toss. They'll just carry on with that behaviour. Say, oh, well, they fined us 39 grand. Now, I mean, 2 or 3 weeks we'll be back in there. We'll do the same thing again and again and again, and you just repeat behaviour. Sorry.
And with Valencia, that would have been good to do all of that, because what I read, they're in financial difficulties anyway. That's why they're like floating above relegation. So doing all them things to them, it would work, because they wouldn't be able to survive certain things, like certain fines and point deductions and certain things. So I think they need to look into stuff like that, and even ban them from playing if they were to qualify for Europe. Ban them from playing in European competition. Yeah, I mean, you need to be stern with them. Even say, oh, you can't play no domestic cups next year, no European. Like, you got to seem to be doing something. But then again, you're going to look at it, and the fans are going to be like, fuck it. And it's like what you said, we'll come back in a couple of weeks and we'll just be worse than what we were before. So it's like, you need to do something drastic.
Exactly. But it's like you said, guys, I don't want, if the people like that Infantino guy is not, and it's not just him, it's the rest of them are not proactive in terms of that, because it probably doesn't fit into their agenda of what they want to do. When does the change happen? 10, 20, 30 years, when they all croak and sort of kick the bucket, and you might get some new people in with a bit more backbone and a bit more substance who actually believe in certain things, you know. But yeah, I don't know. But like you said, the big fines is the start in it. The huge fines, points reductions. That was a good one, John. Banning from Europe, because teams have been banned from Europe for fighting and doing other stuff before. So why can't you do it for racist abuse, consistent racial abuse? There's serial offenders, like you said. I've named the Prague teams have been on that so many times. In Italy, notorious teams have done it time and time again. You know what I mean? And you can go through other countries and pinpoint those teams that have done it year in, year out. You know what I mean? So maybe, like you said, throw the book at those teams, the ones that consistently do it time and time again, and potentially, only potentially, other teams and other fan teams might actually realise, hold on a minute here, I am behaving like an arsehole here. I am, you know what I mean, sort of letting my team down. And like you said, John, with the Valencia thing, imagine that if they got a big points deduction, so you basically relegated your team then.
Yeah, exactly.
Done. You'll be in Serie B now. Or, sorry, not Serie B, La Liga 2, you know what I mean?
What? All right, we've already talked about why we think they do it and all that. Is this the next thing where you think they're just not happy with the state that the club's in? Obviously we're not saying is right, or do you think is stuff to do with the alcohol in fuel? What do you think it is? You think it's just them as a general people? Do you reckon the alcohols make it like it's heating up the fit? What do you think it is?
Listen, what about you? Look, you go out for a drink, right? But all of us, yeah, we all go out for a drink, right? All right, we might add more than 1 or 2 drinks. You know what I'm saying, right? We don't go out talking some racist stuff, do we? We don't start shouting no racial stuff, do we?
Nope.
Nah, man.
Never.
So it's
but even if people do, John, it's just like you say, all right, it's the booze. But sometimes they say a lot of truth is spoken in through drink talk when you get really a bit too drunk. Sometimes
the truth comes.
Not always.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could spout a lot of crap, John, but sometimes you do spout some truth. So if they are doing that under the influence of alcohol, maybe that's who they really are in the first place, and they're using that as Dutch courage to sort of spout that garbage. You know what I mean? But my belief, I don't know what you guys is, it's just a general level of ignorance, isn't it? A general level of ignorance that has been here for a long time, and these guys all get together on the terraces or the seats, whatever they do, and they probably have these beliefs anyway, but maybe one on their own would not want to do it. But once they all start, they just carry on. And like you said, I saw the game. I didn't see the whole game. Maybe you guys saw more than me, but it was a lot of the fans. It wasn't like a small minority of the, you know what I mean?
And they said they only got 3, innit?
They only got 3, yeah.
Sounds like a total
gesture. So you're telling me those 3 people, they could project their voice over the whole stadium? That is bullshit, man. Yeah, bullshit. You caught 3 people, 3 out of what? Say if it's a 50,000 stadium, and like, say the Valencia support, what is about 40,000. You've caught 3 people out of 40,000 people. Get out of here.
Yeah, they're nuts. They're nuts. And yeah, it's been going for long. It's not even finished over here, is it? I mean, it's not as much as it is there, but it's not even solved here, right? Still goes on here, right? What about in Scotland? Still goes on in Scotland, doesn't it?
Yep, definitely. I think what it is over here now, I think it's a little bit more. There are still a lot of racist people, probably a lot of racist fans who watch the game over here. But I think they internalise it a bit more. They're not as vocal. Maybe over time, they just keep it in. Bad, you know what I mean? Maybe if you went down in the leagues a bit more, it would be, at certain places it's still there anyway. You don't even need to call the team out. You know what I mean? But I think generally the people now, maybe the newer generation in Britain, which as we know is really diverse anyway, they're more. They're not as bigoted as sort of previous generations. Yeah, 100%. So them guys are still there, but they're maybe not as bigoted. And even the older bods that still go to the games now, they don't want to spout that crap anymore, because they might feel over here they'll get shouted down, where it's flipped in Spain and places like Italy and with Serbia, Czech Republic. It's almost like it gathers momentum in the crowd in terms of it just, wow, it's just like not 100 people and then, or even like you said, 3 man there. It wasn't 3 man in it. It's almost thousands of people. So that's the problem in Europe. I think it's bigger. We still have it here, but we've done okay with it. There's still a lot of room for improvement here with it as well. But I don't know, mate. They need to really put some real work into it to make a positive change. But then again, if you was a black player over there, would you want to play there, guys?
Where, in Spain?
Yeah.
Spain's lovely, man. You don't know the lovely weather they got in Spain.
Good weather, yeah, but to put up with that level of abuse on a consistent basis?
Yeah, not to put up with that level, no, definitely not.
But I mean, I know, teacher, you've lived there and you've enjoyed your time there, and I'm sure you met some lovely people there who embraced you as well. So I don't believe that's representative of a lot of the Spanish people as a whole. But when you see that game and how it was, and there's other games like it as well, like the most shocking thing for a lot of people that watched that was the sheer volume of people that was involved in that nonsense. It wasn't just a minority, and this is the issue that these whatever presidents of the league and these other that they play it down as it's not the whole stadium, or it's not 5,000 or 10,000. It's a small sector of 50, 100, 200 people maximum. You know what I mean? So they sort of, and that's what we said earlier. They're sort of not stamping it out because arguably they want to.
I don't think so. No, right? Do they always need somebody to point the finger at? Do they always need someone to point the finger at?
It seems like. I mean, I don't know. It's disappointing though. You think in 2023, us as all human beings, it would be, we all live a little bit of an idealistic world in our mind, and I'm honest enough to know it's not like that, and we know what it's really like. But you would think, like, at this time, like I just put places like that I just get referred to. It feels like the 70s over here. I was born in 74, but I've seen footage of stuff then, and sort of the first black players, the Evans and the stuff that come over here, and the crap there to go through. You know what I mean? And players like Laurie Cunningham and stuff that they went through over here, which was scandalous. Interestingly enough, he went over and played for Real Madrid, to be fair. So I wonder how he was treated back then.
That's right. And he was flamboyant, you know what I'm saying? So he must have didn't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? Just went out there and done his thing.
He did business. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, nuts. Yeah?
Yeah.
Any more for any more?
No, I just think...
It's just disappointing. Go on.
Yeah, it is disappointing, John. I think, like Teacher said, that's the conclusion I think we can all try to go with. I think that just drop the big fines and throw it all at them, and maybe that will have a reduction in these cases, you know what I mean? But as a status quo it is, I'm sure you guys agree that you find a club 39,000 or a nation 18,000, nothing's going to change, sadly.
I hear that. I mean, it's just disappointing to see that. The first time I've seen anything like that in football-wise is like when Ian Wright and the Man United keeper Peter Schmeichel, and it's like from then till now, nothing hasn't improved. It looked like it's just getting worse. Racism in football, man, and it's like it's not improving. So to me, it's like what we were talking about before about the prison system and going to. It's like you need to get to the top and then work your way down from then, but it doesn't affect them at the top. So they just keep giving out these stupid fines and these partial stadium closures, and they just keep doing stupidness like that, and the fans will just carry on, man.
Definitely, mate. Definitely, sadly.
Yeah. 3-0 to Vinicius, you know what I mean? Against the Spanish people, the racist Spanish people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
On a positive note, you might see him in the Premier League soon then, guys.
Maybe.
What, Scottish Premier League?
When he's about 40, probably.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Only 2 or 3 clubs can afford him.
But that's the thing, isn't it, now? But yeah, hopefully, like I said, if he thinks to himself like he's had enough, then sort of get out of there. But yeah, you can really afford him. He's such a good player.
Yeah, big up Becky Lou. Always talking.
Yeah, big up, man.
Big up.
Yeah, what did she say? She said something about more than racially her son. She's talking about her son. She said more than racially bullying in her school, the son, they get homophobic bullying. Yeah, what do you think about that, boys? Is that a new thing?
No, I've just known everything to go on for ages as well, isn't it? I think, and the point we want to try and make is not, you don't want to separate, like Johnny was saying earlier on, you don't want to say, you don't want to one treated more than the other, whether it's racism or homophobia, just clamp on it the same way. Say, no, that's not tolerated either, or You know what I mean? Don't put one up there and one down there, just blanket across. We don't want to have that shit. We don't have the racism, homophobic shit in football, you know what I mean?
No, 100%. But did it happen when we was at school? Did it happen when you was at school? Not to you. I mean, did you see it around? Did you see it around that when you was at school? I mean,
yeah, it did happen, innit? They did, yeah. You know, some kids in it would, you know, sort of go on to other kids who, you knew sort of some kids growing up in it. There's a possibility that they might have been gay or whatever, and but I think rightfully or wrongfully, that's part of what some kids do. They latch onto something, you know, and it's generally ignorance as well, whether it's racism or homophobia, that they'll do that and they'll just go in on people, you know what I mean, and say, you know, you're gay, this or that, or, you know, there's the commonly used terms that sort of associate with, yeah, we had it in school, innit, as well, you know what I mean? You know, a couple of, I mean, there probably was more gay guys in school, innit, but they probably wouldn't come out and say it openly, in fear of getting abused, but then people sort of latched onto that anyway and sort of gave them a bit of crap, sadly, which isn't right, you know what I mean? Yeah, that happened, man, in school, innit? You know, I think, again, that's a deeper rooted thing as well. Sometimes the people would sort of taint you with that branch and say, well, you know, you're this and that, you're gay, you know, or maybe if they didn't see someone with a girlfriend or whatever, they might sort of point that finger at them and say, oh, are you gay, mate? Whatever, you know what I mean? You've seen that in school. I've seen it in school, you know, sort of growing up.
Seen. Yeah. Cool. Well, what we got? It's like a movie. This is movie times now. You know what I mean? Hour and 20-something minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna wrap this up. What'd you say? Wrap this up, guys. What are you saying? Thank you.
Yeah, we can do, man. As I said, you guys have they've been two good topics, really.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think. We spoke about them quite in depth, and hopefully for both of them, we hope for some change, innit?
Let's just see, mate. Let's just keep our eyes open, innit? That's the thing, innit? And be hopeful, innit?
That's it. That's all we can do is hope, gentlemen.
Big up Artie. Big up Johnny.
Yeah, big up.
Blessings everyone out there. Big up Becky. Always on point.
Always. Big up, man.
And we out, man. See you on Sunday, man. Sunday, definitely.
See you later, guys. Have a good one.
We've got a nice topic coming up on Sunday. Make sure. Yeah.